Hello everyone and welcome to ICT Today. This is a show where tech meets real life. We run this show based on our love for tech. If we were to have a show like this 10 years ago, it would have been focused more on gadgets. Which one to go for? What's the performance? That is, pros and cons. When it comes to making decisions of choice about tech gadgets. But today, tech has come to the forefront of everything that everyone has one thing or the other to discuss. About a decade ago, tech talk is actually meant for its enthusiasts, but today, tech is everywhere and affecting everything we do. Among other branches of tech, artificial intelligence, AI, is revolutionizing various aspects of our lives, and its impact, which has already spread far and wide, is also not limited but extended to healthcare. In its application, multiple branches of tech may be combined to serve a simple interest. And on this show today, we are going to be looking at multiple branches of tech, and we will narrow down our focus into health technology. We would explore application of mechanical engineering, robotics, and AI. I have joining me live from the UK, BALOGUN, a data scientist who with her team integrated robotics into physiotherapy sessions, specifically targeting injury and surgical recovery. We will explore how she leverages robotics and AI to make physiotherapy session more effective and efficient. We will also explore other aspects of tech which has become a niche, a perspective with which regulators are talking about. My name is Abimbola Ilori and you are watching ICT Today. Ruka, glad to have you join us on the show today, and congratulations on your new project.
Thank you very much. It's amazing to be here also.
AI is on the lips of everyone and it is experiencing a weird PR. Nightmares and concerning job displacement, misinformation and ethical implications. Let's not forget that people making AI are promising that AI can do everything and it will do everything. So, because they believe that it can do everything and it will do everything. Now, the question I want us to start with is, what has changed in AI over the past 5 years and which has brought it to the forefront of tech? Everybody is talking about AI. What has changed between the time AI was invented and now?
Well, AI, short for artificial intelligence, has actually witnessed a transformative advancement over the years and largely driven by leaps in computing power, availability of big data, because a lot of companies now generate big data and in past years, they didn't know what to do with it. Innovative machine learning architectures like transformers, which underpins technologies like ChatGPT, metaverse, and a quite number of other things. We've seen democratic AI tools making them accessible to non-specialists. So you don't have to be an AI expert to use some of these tools. And the integration of AI into fields like healthcare, fintech, education, these changes have shifted AI from being a niche focused on critical elements into a mainstream application. So you don't have to be a robotics engineer to use some of the features of AI, like ChatGPT. A lot of people use ChatGPT for different purposes. If you're a content creator, you can use ChatGPT to ensure that your content is tailored towards the particular topic you want it to be tailored to. If you're a software developer, you can use ChatGPT to make your code better. If you are a mathematician, you can use ChatGPT to check and balance what you've done. So it's not just in a particular niche, and the integration of AI in fields like healthcare, fintech, education, all of these changes have actually, made AI a mainstream application for a lot of people.
Okay, thank you very much. So there has been several changes, and I want us to explore the fact that other technologies do go through the pattern of starting from a point and which would go through a trend, steep up and get to a point where the line will flat, maybe in order to infuse or to design a version that is greater than the previous one. Then they will have a flat line. as AI, or does AI also follow this same pattern as other technologies with slow start, a rapid growth, then thing starts to get flat and harder to improve?
Well, the way we human beings are programmed, we tend to learn from our past mistakes. I want to break this down in like the simplest term. I'll explain how humans work and how machines work. Human beings learn from experience. So if you make a mistake, maybe while cooking and it's salty, you can, in your next cooking, you try to reduce the salt so you can get better outcome. But for artificial intelligence and robotics, we call it machine learning. The machine learns by pattern or trends based on the data that's been fed. So it tends to learn from data, depending on the data it's being fed with, pattern and trends on that data, so that when you present it a new data in a human perspective, it will be a new experience. But in machine learning perspective, it will be a new data set. It is able to accurately predict because it understands with pattern of previous data that you have actually presented it with. We usually call this natural language processing and computer vision. A computer is understanding pattern based on the data it's been fed with previously. So this transition phase improves how it's been able to perform, and it requires innovation in algorithm efficiency, ethical consideration, and computability and scalability. So these challenges signifies a matured field that highlights the increase of AI in multidisciplinary path. So in this part now, I would say that AI learns slowly from patterns based on the data it's been provided to be able to make faster and better decisions.
Thank you very much. So, in your envisioned future, following the trend, what potential benefits do you see AI offering humanity?
Okay, so when it comes to humanity, AI actually plays a very huge role when it comes to in the human life. In previously, I'm going to go back into 50, 40 years ago. We were not so vast in technology use in the space of using of mobile phones, laptops, smart devices. It was available in some countries, but not so in a country like Nigeria. So when you look at AI in Nigeria and when you look at AI in much more advanced country, you are looking at it from different contexts. But because I'm going to try to narrow this down as like Nigeria in a Nigerian scope. We understand that in Nigeria, in climate, if I want to take into perspective now, climate, we have quite a number of seasons that we have in Nigeria. We would usually call them dry season, wet season, harmattan, and it's usually just juggles around all of that. But in other countries, you have winter, summer, autumn, spring. We don't actually experience the same weather as other countries because our own like climatic features are quite different. It might have like similar features, but it's definitely not the same. So how does AI now help some countries and how does AI help African countries, especially Nigeria? We can use AI to predict when changes will be in price of commodity. For example, we understand that during a certain season, some particular food are always more expensive. For example, during dry season, if you try to buy a tuber of yam, it's more expensive than when you want to buy it during wet season. If you try to buy onion in a certain season, it's more expensive when you want to buy it in another season. The same thing with gari and other food items that we purchase in the local market. We can use AI to predict in the nearest future how much the cost of commodity will be and how the climate change is going to affect the production of this food commodity in the nearest future. So looking at this, a lot of data has to be collected to make this happen. And we have to look at ethical implication of collecting this data and how it actually has the effect on a larger scale. So I would say that AI actually is here to help. and not as a form of destruction. Even though AI can also be a form of destruction if used in that manner, but I believe that AI is a tool that helps to that can be used to leverage productivity when it comes to humanity rather than a tool for destruction.
So now, if we are to go by all what you have said, the improvements and the benefits, given the current climate of fear and calls for AI shutdown, we've seen benefits, we've seen the projections, but there are a lot of anticipations and fear in different quarters. What is your perspective about those who are calling for the shutdown, those who are calling based on the climate of fear?
Okay, so AI is not a person, that I can say for sure. But AI can be a person if programmed to be, not like shed blood or stuff like that. It can be trained to think like the human being or a human mind, but it to have its own flaws, but it can actually mimic a human being, but it cannot be 100% human because it doesn't have feelings in real context. So AI is not a human being. AI is a robot, but it doesn't have to be a physical robot. It can be a programmed robot that resides on a mobile phone or a physical device. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like something you can see. It might just be a program that runs in the background of your mobile phone or something that is connected to a particular device or or a physique or a physical being, not human being, but
A representation, a human
a
representation.
physical. Yeah, so it can be a physical representation of something that does a particular task. For example, you can have like there's a vacuum cleaner. It looks very small that's programmed to vacuum the floor anytime there's a dirt on the floor. We have so it doesn't have to take any like certain shape. It can take any shape it can possibly be. We have our CCTVs that tracks movement whenever something when that's
Aside
captures
from
movement
motion
whenever
sensor,
a
yeah.
particular object passes around. That's a CCTV system. The one I've worked with is a robotics that actually creates reps for humans when you've had injury in the past. So AI does not have to be a person or human, like it can literally be any device you can ever think of.
Okay, thank you. We will come to your project soon. But now, you have mentioned a lot. You've told us what AI is and what AI is not. We now have the understanding that AI is not human. It can be modeled in form of a robot representing human shape, carrying human shape, but it cannot be 100% human. Yes. So now, given the current climate of superficial fear and anticipated alarm surrounding AI, what regulatory measures would you implement if given the opportunity? Now we are talking about regulations.
So artificial intelligence, before you can program something to do a particular thing, there has to be some guidelines and some ethical consideration. So the first one I'd like to talk about is ethical guidelines. So what are the baseline or what is the framework in which it was built in? Does it have bias? Is it unbiased? So when I say bias, I mean that does it only accept data being processed by only Black people? Does it only accept data being processed by white people? Does it only accept data being processed by a certain age or a certain race? So that's the first one, the ethical guidelines. Is it free for all to use? That's the first one. The second one is this transparency requirements. Is it explainable? Does it understand decision-making process? Is it able to make accurate decision? That's the second guideline. The third regulatory will be education for policymakers. Do policymakers know the effect of this AI in the particular sector is being used for or is being used to, model? So that's the third one. The last one is global cooperation. Do we understand on a global landscape how the importance and the effect of AI can be in a global world? So all of this has to be put into thinking when dealing with regulatories. So you find out that in advanced countries, all of these have their guidelines, their rules when you want to write or when you want to build a product that has to do with AI and robotics. You have to follow certain guidelines. All of these things have to be put into check and balance. So that policymakers, when they make policy, they know the effects of all of this when creating policies to be followed and to be adhered to.
So you have been very, very detailed and very, very deep with your um, discussion, your explanation so far. So let's delve into the application of AI, and we are going to focus on healthcare.
Okay.
I want us to talk about your project. I want you to briefly explain what role AI plays.
Health tech, like we are all familiar with, has to do with the healthcare system. So the application of AI would be the detection of a particular disease, correction, predictive analytics of a particular disease in a particular gene, or in a particular person also. For example, if someone has a parent, if X has a parent A and B that have genetic makeup of diabetes, if you look at the genetic line, you could predict that X is also going to have diabetes if they get to a particular age. So we can then get the genetic makeup of X to match patterns with A and B to see if this person growing up is going to have diabetes. So we can use AI to do predictive analytics to tell future trends if a certain thing is going to happen and what is the probability that it's going to happen. So that's the first case scenario. Now, another case scenario would be, I've talked about it as an early detection. Another one would be a corrective measure. A corrective measure in that someone already has diabetes, right? And you want to help that person to adhere to certain instruction or a certain procedure to ensure that they get better in time. But you do not want to subject that person to an healthcare or a routine healthcare system, which means you don't want that person to go to the hospital every market day, or you don't want them to go to the hospital like frequently. You can program a robot to do that. So by so doing this individual does not have to be at the healthcare facility every time to follow certain routine. They can do this at the comfort of their home, and they are going to get the same result as they would if they were under the condition, or if they in the same condition as they would in the hospital. So yeah, that's just about it.
Okay. So we have seen that technology, health tech is also pivotal. The impact of IT is being felt even in health sector. And that will bring me to my next question. And I read about your project. You and your team, you actually integrated robotics and AI to physiotherapy. Can you tell us about this, about the robots, about the project?
Yes. Okay. For the physiotherapy project I worked on, the name of the robot is K1, not K1 the Ultimate, a Nigerian artist. So the name of the robot is K1, and K1 is a robot that assists patients with knee injury to get better recovery. So what K1 does is that it's being programmed to to perform certain reps. So what I mean by reps is representation. For example, as a physiotherapist, if you have a bone injury, you would have to take patients how to do certain routines, maybe raise your ankle to a certain degree, perform certain reps, like raise your ankle up 3 times, raise it up 10 times. You continue to do this exercise. A lot of people go to the gym without even knowing the accurate reps of what they are supposed to do. They just follow trends on this tool. We can use this tool to get to run, but they don't have like enough information on what they should be doing and what not based on their body structure and what they are really like aiming to. Of course, we rely on gym specialists to achieve our gym goals, But in this particular case scenario with the K1 robot, it is to assist patients with knee injury. So if you have a knee injury, it is programmed to help you with the reps. So when you follow the robot, it's able to measure your impulse, your heart rate, and your vital signs when you are taking on the exercises. So by so doing this, it's able to monitor if the exercises is having positive yield or not. By monitoring your vital signs, it can tell which of these exercises is intensive, and it can also make it less painful because it's monitoring your vital signs. It can tell, it's just like it's a part of you that humans might not be able to feel. So because it has that trend being monitored, your vital signs, uh, important information about your health recovery, is able to store that data and is able to predict how each of these exercises is having a turn on you. So with that, it can say, okay, fine, in due course, in 6 weeks, in 3 weeks, you will get better because of this information that I have. And this can also be updated, which means that because it now has your data, your vital signs, your health history and stuff, it can be able to predict which other exercises can be added or which ones should be removed because it has that additional features added to it. So it's really a powerful tool when it comes to physiotherapy practice, people that deal with injuries and people that deal with therapy as a whole. You don't have to have injury before you visit a physiotherapy anyway. So yeah, that's just what the robot is actually programmed to do. So it's a do as I do robot. So which means if you are the patient or patient A, we'll be looking at what the robot is doing and we'll be performing alongside with the robot what it's doing. Just like I have my body beside me or I have a gym specialist beside me that's telling me, okay, this is the number of reps I need to do if I want to achieve a particular body physique. So that's what the robot is like. So this costs time and costs expenses on you have to go to the hospital for certain checkup because the hospital is not even able to manage and monitor how these exercises are being done, the effect of the exercise on your body until you are physically present there. So you don't have to manually go, physically go to the hospital and then have your checkup every now and then because the robot has that data and that data monitors the trends and is able to use, we are able to use that. A physiotherapist or a medical professional is able to use that data to make predictions on what the health outcome is going to be in the nearest future.
Okay. But the robots seem to be smaller than a significant human structure. So how do you get the information? Okay, if it's saying that you should move your arm or your leg, how do you get to?
So the robot is very small, yes, definitely, but it talks. So K1 talks. So K1 will say, do reps 10 times. It will tell you the angle in which you need to put your leg to, and then it will do it. You see how it does it in real time, how he raises his leg, how he moves it, and how he even position himself. Because by default, K1 would be a standing robot. So at the beginning of the exercise, K1 is going to lie himself down and it's going to tell you this is how you should position your leg. These are the exercise. This is how you should move your hand. It's going to tell you in real time. It's going to tell you position your hand this way and then move it, glide it this way, move it this way. It's going to tell you what you need to do. It's not just going to stay there and start doing the exercise. It's going to tell you, okay, we are doing 10 reps of increasing the movement in the ankle, and by so doing this, we are going to raise the ankle to a 90-degree, and then we are going to push forward. I'm trying to even push forward on my leg, but then I'm not standing, so you're not able to see what I'm doing. So it's going to tell you what angle you need to put your leg, and you're going to see it in real time, how it has placed its own leg, and how you can also follow suit. So by so doing this, it's able to monitor the vital signs and collect data, related to the patient.
Okay, now that's fantastic. But you integrated robotics and AI in this project. How did you manage to bring these two technologies together?
K1 is a robot itself. On its own, it doesn't know what to do. You can even buy it and ask it to be singing for you every morning. Just like we have Alexas in our houses and you say, Alexa, turn on the light. Alexa, do this. Alexa, play me music. On its own, K1 is just a robot. So you have to program it to do reps that you want it to do or certain things that you want it to do. So in this particular case scenario, K1 has an application that gets installed on mobile devices, for an example, an iOS, an Android phone. So it comes with, just like the way we have Alexa. We have Alexa on your mobile phone, and you can say you can, if you don't want to say Alexa, do this using your voice recognition, you can program it from your mobile phone. So K1's activity is programmed to the app. So you can program K1 to do what you need it to do from the mobile app. So the exercises, the reps, the moves, all of that is programmed on the application. So now how the robotics and the artificial intelligence now play into the robot on its own. You've not programmed it. It's functions, but without activity or program to do a certain thing. It's just a robot with no activity. Now, the AI part is that you want it to learn from this particular case scenario, a physiotherapist, right? Reps of exercises or movement. So the AI part is that you have integrated exercises into the robot to assist a person with knee injury or back injury or ankle injury or any injury whatsoever. You've programmed it, and then it takes information. What's the information is taking? The information is taking is vital signs and the person's health record. So now, because it has this record, right, the AI part is able to use this record to make predictions on what the health outcome of this patient is going to be because of this data it has in nearest future. So you can then use this if you have, like, maybe you want to do a population of, maybe you're working on a research and you want to say people that have so injury, what is their likelihood of recovery within so period. You have 10, 20, 30, 100 people take that process. The AI gathers the results and is able to make a generalization in a particular scope based on people's health history. And then you can now generalize it that people that have leg injury, if they follow this certain routine and their age is so, and so based on the data that is available, this is going to be their health outcome. This is going to be their results. So in real sense, in that particular case scenario, AI has actually been used as a predictive tool and a corrective tool because it has been used to predict health outcomes of patients with knee injury, and it has also been used as a corrective tool to help people with injury to recover faster in the comfort of their homes, of course.
Well, congratulations once again. Like you've said, and what I can deduce from what you've said so far is K1 gathers data from the routine of exercises and is able to make deductions and make projections for future references. That is a good one, and I want to thank you very much for coming on the show today. I believe that next time when I call on you, you'll be glad to answer us.
Yeah, sure.
And I also believe that by next time I'll call on you, we will have more innovations to discuss together.
Definitely.
Okay, thank you very much, Rukiat.
All right, thank you very much.
That's how far we can go on this show. We have seen how much AI has impacted our lives, and we tend to have a perspective of what the future holds for this technology. Until next time when I return, kindly take time out to follow us on all our social media platforms, subscribe to our channels, and click the notification icon to receive alerts when we post new updates or when we're online. You can also watch us live on our website www.ogtv.com.ng/live for latest news and happenings around you. And until next time when I return again, if it is digital, it is part of ICT.